Good afternoon to all. Uh, my dissertation topic is comparative analysis of abundance estimation methods for ungulates, along with their spatio-temporal interaction and habitat use in Pake Tiger Reserve. My study was supervised by Dr. Vishnupriya Kolipakam and co-supervised by Professor Kamar Qureshi and Dr. S. Satyakumar. Ungulates play an important role in grazing ecosystem. They also play a major role as seed disperser and are a major prey to carnivores. Hence their conservation is of importance. For conservation of any targeted species, we need to estimate the abundance of that species and monitor the trends of abundance over time. For ungulates, line transit method is a very widely used method which is based on the sighting. But this method is always not appropriate in the mountainous terrain where the vegetation is dense and ungulate occur at low density and it is logistically challenging. Camera trap has come up as an important tool for ecological research, and various methods have been used to estimate the abundance of ungulates, but all these methods often are not as good in estimating the abundance of unmarked individuals. So recently a random encounter model developed by Rocliffe et al., which uses the average speed and sensor detector parameter, and camera trap distance sampling developed by Howe et al., which uses the camera trap data and sampling distance theory, estimate and gives the robust estimate of ungulate abundance for unmarked individual. So using this as a background, I present you my first objective, which was to estimate the abundance of ungulates using random encounter model and camera trap distance sampling, and comparing both the methods. The camera traps are also used in modeling the habitat use. So we know that habitat use is often shaped by vegetation, but body size, metabolic rate also plays an important role. Also, the presence of predator also plays an important role in the habitat use of ungulates. Taking this into background, I proposed my other two objectives, which were to assess the habitat use, spatio-temporal interaction of sympatric ungulates using camera trap, and to assess the spatio-temporal interaction between ungulates and carnivore if there were any. So my study was conducted in Pake Tiger Reserve, Arunachal Pradesh. The core of which is 862 square kilometer and the buffer area is 515 square kilometer. My study was conducted in the core zone, which is presented in the yellow. The major vegetation type of my study area is the Assam Valley tropical semi-evergreen forest. The forest is rich in epiphytic flora and dense lianas. Terrain is highly undulating and altitude ranges from 77 meter to 2000 meter. The lowland area is crisscrossed by many perennial streams. Major ungulate in my study area are gaur, sambar, wild pig, hawk deer, India, Asian elephants. And major carnivore are tiger, leopard, wild dog, clouded leopard and Asiatic black bear. So moving on to my first objective, using random encounter model and camera trap distance sampling. For this objective, my methods includes camera trapping in 1 by 1 kilometer grid was used. Cameras were deployed at the center of each grid using proposed by Rocliffe et al. The placement of cameras was random, and cameras were deployed at a height of 50 centimeters from the ground. Total 50 cameras were deployed, but only 46 remained because others were destroyed by elephants. A total 224 trap night gave a total capture of 3,602, out of which Sambar had the highest detection traps was 1,655, and the hawk deer had the lowest captures of. For camera calibration, we laid. Hello? Audible? For camera calibration, I laid 3 measuring tape in front of the camera view. Researcher held a 2-meter long pole with 10 centimeter alternate color band and a distance marker. The researcher was photographed at every 2-meter interval from the camera, and this was done along the center and both the field of view. For camera distance sampling, and my analytical method include we estimated the animal from the camera using a image processing software ImageJ. ImageJ used earlier in a study to measure the dimension of leopards using trap photographs. First, we estimated the distance of our calibration pole and obtained a correction factor which we used to in our estimated distance using the ImageJ. and error was incorporated in our density using a delta method. The density was obtained using the formula given. Hello? Yeah. The density was estimated using Hove et al. 2017 and the analysis were performed in distance 7.3. The analytical methods for random encounter model include the distance, speed and the angle for animal was obtained using the image processing software called Anometer, which is developed by Saurabh Sahu, Dr. P.V. Jhala and Kamar Qureshi at the Wildlife Institute of India. The density was estimated using the formula by Rockcliffe et al. 2008. And all the analysis were performed in Excel and RStudio. The results for my camera trap distance sampling are as follows. We got a density estimate of 3.3 individual per square kilometer for sambar. We got a density estimate of 4.01 individual per square kilometer for bucking deer. For gaur, we got an estimate of 1.72 individual per square kilometer. And wild boar, estimate of 0.67 individual per square kilometer. And for hog deer, we got estimate of 0.39 individual per square kilometer. The result of random encounter model are as follows. For random encounter model, I only used wild pig for my analysis due to time constraint and compared REM and camera trap distance sampling for wild boar. So that we obtained from random encounter model for wild pig is 0.74 individual per square. So comparing the density estimate using camera trap and random encounter model for wild boar are as follows. So both the method comparable results and there was no difference. Although CTDS had a less CV, but confidence interval of both the methods were overlapping. So correlating our density estimate with the previous study. So only one study was there from our field side, which was done by Salvan et al. From the Wildlife Institute of India. They used line to estimate the density and their density estimate was comparable and we found that our density estimate from camera trap distance sampling was comparable with their density estimate except for wild pig. But the difference in the density estimate of wild pig we cannot assign what is the difference because there is no. Can you hear me? So because there is no other study on density estimation from 14 to 21. So if we look at camera trap distance sampling and line transect distance sampling, I couldn't do the line transect sampling due to time constraint, but luckily we had a transect study done by Salvan et al. In 2014. So I looked at their study to look at the effort. So if we look at transect sampling which was done by Salvan et al, they used 20 line transects and it was replicated 5 times over a study period of 3 years. And if we look at the total area sampled during in the line transect was 13,600 square kilometer. Also, hog deer was not cited in the line transect because of a very low occurrence density of hog deer. If we look at camera trap distance sampling, we used 33 cameras for 4 months and the total area sampled from camera trap distance sampling was 56,000 square kilometer. So in terms of effort, camera trap distance sampling can be more effective in covering more area and than the line transect distance sampling. We also obtained relative abundance index for our species and there was only one RAI estimate from our field side which was the all-India tiger estimation. So we looked at the RAI compared the RAI using AITE, but I want to make sure that this comparison is we haven't included the detection probability is an issue with this, so that I mentioned earlier. So just for our comparison, I am using the AITE estimate. I correlated my RAI with the density estimate obtained from camera trap distance sampling and found a linear correlation, which is obvious because if density is high, RAI should be high. And R square value was found to be 0.87. Many other studies have also correlated RAI with the density, but they have used density using an independent method, which is line transect, which we couldn't do. That's why I just used for correlation of my camera trap RAI only. O'Brien et al., Rockcliffe et al., and Rovero, they found a very relationship between RAI and density. So, moving to my second objective to look at the habitat use and spatio-temporal interaction of sympatric ungulates. Habitat-related variables were collected in front of the camera field of view in a 10-meter circle. Number of tree species, canopy cover, elevation was noted. We also estimated the browse availability and visibility of the plot. A dung count was also done in 10 by 2 meter well transit. And the vegetation type in front of the camera was classified into the 4 different broad categories, that is the riverine, grassland, dense and moderately dense. For my analytical methods, habitat use was assessed using the EGLIF index in Excel, and availability and utilization approach by New et al. Was used to analyze in RSS software. Kernel density maps were generated using ArcGIS and RStudio. Temporal activity pattern of ungulates was generated in R using the package overlap. So the result, the spatial, the kernel density map was somewhere shows that the hotspots are around major streams and it is occurring all around the southern boundary of the park. Same is for barking deer, it is occurring all across the southern boundary and hotspots are along the major streams. For gaur, the hotspots are mostly in the grasslands and riverine habitats. For wild pig, major perennial streams are the major hotspot, but it is captured all along the boundary, southern boundary. For hawk deer, the hotspot were clearly in the riverine and grassland habitats. The result of EGLIF index and New et al. Are as follows. The Sambar uses the moderately dense habitat. We corrected for New et al.'s estimation using the Bailey's correction for Bonferroni's confidence interval. And which shows that Sambar is using moderately dense habitat more than availability. Barking deer is using moderately dense habitat more than availability. Gaur was found to use riverine and grassland habitat more than availability. And wild pig was found to use moderately dense habitat more than availability. Hawk deer was using riverine and grassland habitat more than availability. So the habitat use result can be concluded as we can see that hawk deer and barking deer, which are approximately of the same body size, have segregated spatially to avoid the competition, whereas hawk deer have over a course of time in the grassland and riverine habitat and it uses the forested habitat. Gaur, having the largest body size, is a generalist and subsists on coarse diet and uses the riverine and grassland habitat. One thing to note here is that other study shows that gaur uses more forested habitat and rugged terrain, which in our field site also the Europe. During our camera trap study, the time period which we got the gaur in grassland habitat was the time when Impelata was flowering, and this could be the reason we got more captures in the valleys and grassland habitat. And this was also showed by George Scheller in his study in Kana. He also found a gaur more during that time of period when Impelata and Vetivaria were growing in the valleys. The activity pattern are as follows. Bimodal peak was found for all the. Hello. The activity was highest during the crepuscular period. The activity was lowest at the noon. Wild peak was diurnal in the activity. Third objective, to assess the spatio-temporal interaction between ungulates and carnivore. For that, the temporal overlap was measured using the coefficient of overlap delta. We ran 1000 bootstrap sample to obtain 95% confidence interval for the coefficient of overlap. The overlap was estimated in R using the package overlap. Statistical model of species co-occurrence was estimated in R using the package. The highest overlap was found between leopard and barking deer. For wild dog, the overlap was highest between and tiger. The highest overlap was found with wild boar. We got very less capture of carnivores. That's the reason. Although we have hello. So the capture of carnivore was very less in our because of the random placement of cameras. Although we found temporal habitat, but the conclusive results cannot be, conclusive inference cannot be. For species co-occurrence, we pooled all the carnivore into a large carnivore because the number of cameras which we got to capture carnivore were very less, and the species co-occurrence is basically obtained by what is the probability of where prey and predator occur in the same camera trap. So we pooled all the carnivore together, and we found that 11 out of 15 pair were random. 2 pair were found to show the positive relationship. That was the hawk, deer and boar, which occurred in riverine and grassland habitat, and wild pig and barking deer, which occurred in moderately dense habitat. 2 pairs were negative, but barking deer and hawk deer, which segregated based on their body size, and hawk deer was using grassland and barking deer was using the moderately dense habitat. We found a negative relationship between large carnivore and summer, which again, because of low sample size of carnivore, we cannot make an inference. So conclusions for my study are: the camera traps are logically feasible in estimating the abundance of ungulate in mountainous terrain, especially in the dense forest of northeast, where light transit sampling is often logistically challenging. Both camera trap distance sampling and random encounter model give comparable estimate, but camera trap distance sampling is more convenient as it does not require an estimation of animal speed, which is often challenging to obtain. Distance sampling using camera trap has been successfully used by Pal et al. In the Western Himalayas to estimate the abundance of ungulates, and it has given a robust estimate also. Our study also shows the applicability of image processing software, ImageJ, in estimating the distance of animal using camera trap. Also, tend to incorporate the distance estimation error in density estimate when using such softwares. Body size and physiology play an important role in resource partitioning over space and time. Shortcoming and way forward for my studies are that we lack complexity estimate, that is the camera trap and line transit. The density estimate of only one species, that is wild boar, was used to compare the density estimate of camera trap distance and REM. Also, one of the major drawback with REM was that the speed. So we couldn't obtain the animal speed in our sample, in our studying area. So we borrowed the speed of wild boar from a study conducted by Banerjee et al. In the Cobbett Tiger Reserve, which also is one of the drawback of REM. Fine scale habitat variables were collected but not analyzed due to time constraint. Attraction and avoidance ratios for prey and carnivores could not be assessed due to low sample size of carnivore species. Thank you. And I would like to acknowledge Director, Wildlife Institute of India, Dean, Course Director Dr. Samrat Mandal, Associate Course Director Damendu Page, my supervisor Vishnu ma'am, Co-Supervisor Kamar sir and Satyakumar sir. I want to thank Sudeep Banerjee, Himanshu Mata and Surajit Moitra, because of whom this dissertation was possible. I would like to thank our course assistant Regi ji and Umesh ji, Arunachal Forest Department, my field assistants Ajit Malik and Jacob Ra. I would like to thank Chandanda for all the logistic support, Tayam Aunty, Prabhu, Suresh for making me feel like home during my field study, and Rajan for helping us in Sidosa. I would like to thank my MSc batchmates, family and friends for all their help and support they have given me during these 2 years. Thank you. I have also tried to correlate my density estimate which I got using my camera trap distance sampling and predicted density using RAI, although I haven't included this in my study, but just for an inference that if detection probability is taken into consideration, and if the camera placement are random, RAI could be used as a predicted to predict the density of estimate in further. We would like to look at that also. Thank you.
Questions? Varun, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Nice work. Great.
Thank you, sir.
Mine is a very basic question.
Yeah.
When we did camera trapping, our study, so we did not get hawk deer. So whatever hawk deer captures that you have got, is it close to Nameri?
Yeah. So all the hawk deer capture were from basically 2 or 3 major river Nameri. and Upper Digrai, and from one of them from this Khari Nala. And all these are the large perennial rivers, nalas basically, which flows across Naveri. And yes, the cameras were placed not exactly near to Naveri border, but a little bit far. But yes, they were in the grassland, in the the large perennial nalas.
Placed in Pake, not in Naveri.
Yeah, that boundary is a very issue.
So the second one is the hotspot that you have mapped
Yeah.
out. So it shows only in the southern part.
Yeah,
I think that is where you have also sampled out.
yeah, exactly.
The rest of the areas probably
Yeah.
you have not sampled. So what proportion have you sampled for camera tracking of the 800 odd square kilometers? So what proportion of the area did you sample for placing your camera traps?
So exactly, I haven't calculated the proportion yet, but during my proposal we proposed to use the upland also, but we couldn't, and so later on we came up with the idea of deploying cameras all along the lowland area, which was feasible in very short time. So
The reason why I asked is, when you show the hotspot mapping, it shows that about 95% of Pake, so there is no presence or something. So that was comment.
yeah,
Arun,
yes, sir.
so great work, nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
So, with respect, so you have 33 camera traps, right?
Yeah, so there were 46 which were used finally, but from a density estimate I used 33.
And your grid size was 1 square
Yeah.
kilometer. So roughly you have sampled 45 square kilometers.
Yeah.
So if you convert that 45, that will tell the percentage area sample. My question is, these 45 camera traps you have got, say, you have put them for how many days? 80 days.
The number of days vary.
On an average.
Yeah, on an average 30 to 45 days.
So the data which you use for distance sampling, you use it all the 24 hours, or you truncated your data to the activity cycles? Or
No, so we used all the hours, and actually the HOVE has proposed that they have used activity period as sampling period that the animal are available. But we didn't find any reason to do that because animals are anyway available 24 hours to capture because and also we have and there is a study which is unpublished which is recent by Dr. Jhala and Kamar which has also shown that the activity period taking whole activity as a sampling period is more better than using the activity hour because that may inflate the density estimate.
the issue comes with zero inflated data set. So when you have, what is the interval you have selected for distance sampling? It acts as a distance sampling.
Yeah.
So what is the time interval? How
Yeah,
much is that
yeah,
distance?
that is 8 seconds because the 8 seconds was the time when our camera was taking another
So
photo.
every 8 seconds is a one sampling point.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So how many 8 seconds you will have in 24 hours for a one camera trap? So that is your number of sampling replicates at a one site. So if you use this data as a sampling replicate, you will have 1 million zeros and few present locations. So your data set becomes zero inflated data set. And when you use this data set in a distance sampling, I don't think distance sampling is going to converge. So how do you manage that intervals in the distance sampling? So what's your
So,
point?
the methodology which we used, so we estimated how much hours the camera was active, total active hours.
24 hours.
Yeah, for the number of days we got total hours, and we found that 8 seconds was the time period when the camera was taking another moment, and it was available 8 seconds later to take the independent photograph. So we divided that with 8 and got the total effort, the total available time available to take the photograph, and we used that as our effort to calculate the density estimate.
See, when we go for distance sampling, we walk a transit for 1 hour and come back and say that we have completed transit. We are not there after 1 hour. So that's an effort. For a bird count, effort is 10 minutes. For some other, effort is 5 minutes. Right? But your camera trap is there 24 hours. So your effort is 24 hours. Right? Because it's a, consider it a person standing there for 24 hours. But the pics, the clicks are when you detect animals. So these are the presence points. So you have a few presence points, you have a zeros. So have you considered this entire data or you have only considered the present locations? Then the camera got clicked.
Yeah, so we only use the first triggers which we obtained for all the animals. We placed that we put a camera on burst mode. It was clicking 5 photographs consecutively on one trigger. So we only use the first image and the images which were clicked for a distance estimation.
So if you convert to the traditional distance sampling, yes, so you have not, so that means you have walked a transit, you have not cited anything and you have not included it. Right or wrong?
In our camera trap,
Yeah.
we only took into consideration the photograph which we got. If we don't got any photograph, how
But
can we?
camera is sampling, na? Camera is sampling there, camera is present there.
Yeah.
So you are not getting an animal.